Hello, my name is Dr. Jim Bidlack, and today is March 7th, 2021, and I'm here to help you learn how to remove and clean the laser box for a Dell 5100cn laser printer. And there it is, and that's what we're going to be working on. And the first thing I'm going to do is show you what the problem is. Okay, so here's the printer, the Dell 5100cn printer. And the first thing I'm going to do is show you what the problem is. And to do that, I'm just going to go to the menu and go to the printer reports. And I'm going to go to the PCL fonts list and print out the pages that are giving me the problem. Now, I've had this printer for about 20 years. I bought it brand new, and it's been like the best printer I've ever had. I could buy a new printer, but this printer is so good, and I've got so many computers hooked up to it, I don't want to have to reconfigure all the other computers. So, I'm going to fix it. And here's what the problem is. I'm going to go ahead and show you the sheets that just printed out. But basically what you see here is it's got a lot of purpley printing on it. It's got some fairly good printing on the right-hand side of the page, but essentially nothing on the left-hand side of the page. So what I think the problem is, what I've been saying all along, is that the laser box is dirty. It's 20 years old, and I've used it a lot, and I bet there's a lot of toner sitting right on the laser mirrors and the laser prisms themselves. So that's what we're going to clean. Now, you would think after about 20 years of using this printer, and I've used other laser printers before this is just the best one I've had, that I would have a pretty good idea of what I'm doing. I've been a professor for about 30 years, and I do use the printer quite a bit for textbook work that I do. I co-author the best-selling botany textbook in the world, as a matter of fact. It's called Introductory Plant Biology. If you want to know a little bit about the book that I co-author, we're on the 15th edition. You can just type in my name, Jim Bidlack, on any search engine. You'll find it. And I use this printer to look at hard copies and do revisions before I send off the electronic versions to the editor. But you can change things such as the fuser, and the fuser comes out pretty easily. And I've swapped out fusers many times. Or there's the transfer roller. If you open this up another way, down in here is the transfer roller, and then if you push this special magic blue button here, there's the imaging drum. That's this thing that's got a handle on it. And when I started having this new problem, I looked on the internet, and there's all sorts of information on changing those different items. In fact, I've got the old ones. If you want to see the old ones, let's see. There's the here's the fuser. There's the transfer roller, and there's the imaging drum. And I changed those out. I even did a little bit of work and changed the developers within the printer. And they're all new, and that didn't work. So I'm pretty sure that the problem is with the laser box itself. Now, it's going to take a little bit of disassembly and reassembly, but I think I know what I'm doing. Okay, so what sort of things are you going to need to be able to clean the laser box in the Dell 5100cn printer? I'll tell you first and foremost, because I've done stuff like this before, you're going to need a vacuum cleaner. There's my vacuum cleaner. I've had this vacuum cleaner since the early 1980s, so it's lasted quite a long time. You're going to need a vacuum cleaner to clean up after your mess, because there's a lot of that powder that comes out of the toner cartridges. And then I've got my handy dandy toolbox, and mostly what you're going to need is a Phillips head screwdriver. Sometimes you need kind of a long one, sometimes you need kind of a short one. And then you're probably going to need some air to blow out some of the areas, especially with the laser box that's built up all the toner. I've got some WD-40 that I'm going to use to kind of lubricate those rollers inside. And then depending on what you want to use, Because you got to have a sense of humor when you're working on a laser printer. I've got the Bible to say a few prayers, but if you don't like the Bible, I've got my joke book, because I'm a kind of a silly professor, and I've got a sense of humor. And last but not least, I've got my Diet Mountain Dew here to keep me awake, because this is probably going to take a good several hours to disassemble the 5100cn and take out the laser box. So here we go. All right, so I've taken apart several things for the printer, and you can go on the internet and find out how to take off the sides and the top and all those kinds of things. But what we're really after here, if I can navigate to the back of the printer, is this box right here. This is the laser box. There's what looks like the control panel for the laser box. And what I want to do is I want to remove this laser box, and there's some screws way back in there and way back in there. And there's also going to be a disassembly of all of the toner cartridge trays. That's these things. You're going to have to take these off in order to be able to completely remove the laser box. But it can be done. Almost did that one other time, but I guess today is our lucky day, and we're going to go ahead and take out that laser box. Okay, this is getting a little bit more complicated than I thought, but I think I've got it. I had to remove what's called the toner dispenser assembly, this thing, and dismantle the tubes that go to the transfer roller. But the laser box is right back here, and there are 3 screws holding it in, and I'm not going to go into all the details about how I got to those screws. It took a little bit of manipulation, but there's one on each side, and then there's one at the very top, which is why I had to remove the screw for the dispenser assembly, and I think I've almost got it removed, so let's see where we go from here. All right, that took a little more work than I thought it was going to. I had to disassemble what's called the toner dispenser assembly to get to the 3 screws. It was that one screw at the top that was hard to remove. But I have removed the laser box. There it is. And I can actually pull it out, and I'm going to work on that in the kitchen and see if we can get that all cleaned up so that we've got good printing. So here we go to clean up the laser box in a Dell 5100cn printer. Yay! So here is the laser box from a Dell 5100cn printer. Oh my goodness, hallelujah. It was kind of hard to get that out. And I know there's a Christmas tree in the background. It's March, and my son is, he's wanting to have another Christmas for Easter. So anyway, there's the laser box. And I'm looking inside there, and boy, is it dirty. I think that was the problem. That's the reason why we're having a hard time printing. It looks like I can take it apart and clean it. So that's what I'm going to do next. Interestingly, it doesn't look too bad in there. There's a neat cover for the laser box. But inside, there are a whole bunch of mirrors and prisms and so on. So I'm going to go ahead and clean those and put it back in the printer and see if that cleans up my printing. So let's go ahead and start the printing. I've got, I'm going to use isopropyl alcohol and Q-tips to do that. They said that you're not supposed to use sandpaper and Windex, so I think I'll avoid that and just use the isopropyl alcohol and the Q-tips. So let's go ahead and clean it. The laser box is now clean. And what we've got to do next is put it back into the machine. And that's going to be kind of a challenge too. We're going to have to ease it back in there right underneath the developer unit and plug it back in and see if it works. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and reinstall the laser box. You know, putting the laser box back in wasn't as hard as I thought. As long as the dispense assembly is disassembled, you can sneak it in there pretty well. Now you can see where that top screw is. There's a screw over there on the left, and there's a screw over there on the right. And we're going to go ahead and hook it back up and see what happens. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and put the laser box back in, put the printer back together, and try printing a test page. Okay, it's the moment of truth for the Dell 5100cn laser printer after cleaning the laser box and removing a bunch of toner dust and other crud that was on the mirror and the prisms on for the laser printer. And we're going to see if we can improve upon the print quality. Remind you what the print quality looked like before we cleaned it. It's kind of what it looked like. And hopefully, now that we've cleaned the laser box, we'll get a better printout, better quality printing from our Dell 5100cn printer. So I'm going to go ahead to the menu again like we did before. Go to menu and then configure, and down here to the printer reports and to the PCL fonts list. And while this is printing, I'll tell you that I actually bought this laser printer in December 2005, so it's more like this is 2021, so more like 16 years since I bought this laser printer. But let's go ahead and see if the printout looks better, and if we're going to celebrate. Let's take a look. We got our fingers crossed. There, yeah, oh, yay! It did improve the print. Okay, there's after cleaning the laser box, and boy, that sure does look good. Looks a lot better. In fact, it almost looks like new now that we've cleaned the laser box. Here's the old printout. Okay, and here's a new printout. So cleaning the laser box did help improve the print quality. I'll say one more thing before I go here, and that is make sure that you got a good vacuum cleaner. I actually shampooed the carpet because there was a lot of toner all over the place. It took, I don't know, about a day to do this repair. But you can clean the laser box, and it does improve upon the print quality. And there you have it. How to clean the laser box for the Dell 5100cn laser printer. And we're going to celebrate. Woo-hoo! Yay!